Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Ask a Christian podcast. I'm your host, Nate. You know what? Someone said my volume wasn't that loud recently. I don't know. Let me know. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Me, being amazing at not being a professional and being really bad at my free job, has not quite, I guess, figured out the right way to handle audio scenarios. So, welcome everybody. Let's see. What was I saying? You know what? You can't hear this, but I have music in my ear. Steph, I was going to say something like, I'm not going to prepare at all for today, and I guarantee it's going to be better than yesterday when I actually tried.
Well, I can't
It
talk
already is.
for like 40 minutes, so, I was hoping you'd prepared something.
Well, I mean, I can find something. I didn't have to prepare. It was more like I sit down and here it was. So I guess if you call that preparing, is this where we quibble about what does prepare mean? You have to go to prepare in the Greek. It means preparatorium in the Greek, and that means to, oh, Lord. Hey, Felix, what's going on? Okay, great. That's what I expect from people. All right, so here's what we can listen to. We're gonna listen to. Nope, you missed your chance. You gotta listen. You can respond.
I haven't got there, but I have started going to church every now and again.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I do.
I do too. It's a bunch of people that are going to try to make their lives better. They're trying to be a better person, and they're trying to. I mean, for me at least, the place that I go to, they read and analyze passages in the Bible. I'm really interested in what these people were trying to say, because I don't think it's nothing. There's a lot of like atheists and secular people that just like to dismiss Christianity as being foolish. It's just fairy tales. I hear that amongst self-professed intelligent people. Like it's a fairy tale. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I think there's more to it. I think it's history, but I think it's a confusing history. It's a confusing history because it was a long time ago. And it's people telling things in an oral tradition and writing things down in a language that you don't understand, in the context of a culture that you don't understand. And I think there's something to what they're saying. I don't think it's nothing.
No.
I think there's something to it, and there's a reason why it resonates with people. And Christianity in particular is the most fascinating to me because there's this one person that everybody agrees existed that somehow or another had the best plan for how human beings should interact with each other and behave, and was the best example of it, and even died in a non-violent, like it didn't even protest, died on the cross, supposedly for our sins. Like, it's a fascinating story. What does it represent, though? That's the real thing. What was that? Like, what happened? Who was Jesus Christ if it was a human being? What was that?
So Joe Rogan's going to church. He is getting this close. Come on, this close to becoming a Christian and giving his life to Jesus. That's.
So there's a lot good and a lot concerning in that. The biggest point is with the biggest influencers, with the biggest voices who are saying very nice, cozy things to Christianity, it's like, great, everyone's like just right on the edge of kind of sort of getting it, but then he's like, if Jesus was human, supposedly died for our sins, so it's like people go into church because why? To make their lives better. Well, I guess, but that's like the least point you can say. Make their lives better by way of repenting and believing the gospel and going to understand what Jesus' commands are, what his sayings are, how to have a better relationship with Jesus, understand the Bible, and live like him. So if by that you mean make your lives better, sure. I don't know if that's what he means. So I don't want to criticize too hard because this is like a person who's wandering around kind of looking, kicking the tires on the car of Christendom. And hopefully he'll, jump in the driver's seat, or I guess Jesus would be in the driver's seat, but hopefully he'll jump in and be like, yes, so Jesus in fact was a human. He was also divine. And when he's like, it was one point I can kind of agree on is the context. He's like, this was written really long ago. That's inconsequential. It was written in a language we don't know. That's true. It was oral tradition. True. It was eventually written down. True. In a language we don't understand. True. And he's like, these are the things why he's saying it's so hard to understand, but none of these are. The things that's hard to understand is where he says, in a different context. Yes, that's completely true, and you need to understand the context, which so many people don't. The people who focus on context the most are, in the wrong way, are the detractors of Christianity, and they try to make their godless demon points by jacking up the context and doing violence to it. The people who would be just good-natured people who could possibly repent and believe the gospel and, believe Christianity, they're the ones that they don't know the context. They need to learn the context by reading. So basic reading comprehension, how to read a book. Understand the context for these things will do a world of good. So the only time we hear context in the Bible is usually when people are taking something out of context. Let's see, what else? He's like, but something about this, it resonates with people because it's put there, they were made in the image of God, just like Romans 1. That's why it resonates with people. It's not just like Jesus said some good stuff. It's that he is the Son of God. Whether you, quote, know it, you know it. Your spirit knows it. And it either accepts it and wants more of it, or it's going to fight it and reject it and, end up opposing Team Jesus. Let's see. He supposedly died on the cross for our sins, supposedly. Well, he did. So, if it seems like he understands a little bit of the concept of sin to say Jesus supposedly died for it. So, you're getting closer, getting warmer. Let's see. What does that represent? The entire point of Christianity. You all have sinned. You've done oopsies or wrongs against God. So Jesus dying for these sins, yes, he covers that. He is the only one who can, through his perfect sacrifice and the shedding of his blood on the cross, his death, his burial, his resurrection. That's for you. You is whoever recognizes that and be like, oh yes, I have sinned against a holy and perfect God. Who will save me? I'm doomed. Oh, that's why Jesus came as God himself, came from heaven to earth, lived a perfect life, and the sacrifice on the cross was for my sin? Yes, I want that. Jesus, forgive me. Make me born again. I will follow you. That is the what it represents, is what it is, which is saving people from our sin, giving us eternal life, uniting us with our heavenly Father. There you go. All right, Felix. What's up, Felix? I'm not talking. I'm just working. Just kidding.
Yeah. He's basically just researching. Is that what he's doing?
He's been cozying up for a while. He'll have different guests. Like he really went pretty deep when Wes Huff was on there. He hit him with some of the more common kind of questions about Christianity, like how this, why this, how do we know this is legit, etc., etc. And I think Wes Huff did I didn't see the whole thing, I don't think, but he did a really good job, what I heard.
Yeah.
So I things like that. He's been having more Christian and Christian adjacent guests on. I think for about a year now, maybe. But yeah, he seems to be exploring it more, and it seems like he's filling some sort of pool. He says he's been going back to church. Anyways, but yeah, so it seems like he's getting more cozy.
I still see him very skeptical, though, from what he.
Well, yeah, no one's saying he's a Christian. You just heard how he messed up the gospel. He's like, if Jesus was even human, whatever sin is. But this seems like the type of person that could be what the Bible calls good soil, where they're inquisitive, they're curious, they're not a Christian yet, but they're open to it. So they're asking sincerely skeptical questions, not ready to beat you down with, I went to IHateGod.com and I have a rebuttal for that. Like they're like, oh, well, I don't understand how this resurrection can happen. How can that happen? And then they're going to listen to the answer.
Mm-hmm. So is IHateGod.com a website?
I don't know. We say that a lot. There's a million like them. Let's find out. I'm sure someone has it. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, hang on. I put a space. Let's see. Yes. Let's see. Oh, there's I spelled EYE, hategod.com. Is this a band? Wonderful. I'm going to say, probably don't listen to that band. Hang on. Let me just type in the URL. No way someone doesn't have this, even if it's a parody. Oh, it go. Wait. It went to, where did it go? Did it go to some K-pop site? It redirects to KDOP. I have no idea what that is. KDOP.com. My router that I have for internet safety, from explicit imagery to gambling and excessive advertisements. Like, I have a whole bunch of categories blocked on it. And it's blocking me from going there. So I don't know what that is. Probably don't go there. It's probably blocked by one of those categories. So I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, IHateGod.com, somebody has, and it redirects to whatever that place is. Anyways, I bear no responsibility if anyone tries to go there. Steph's doing it right now. Yeah, Felix. Anything else?
No, I just heard that, and I'm listening to what he's saying. He sounds like he's interested, but at the same time, he's like, obviously, he's not convinced yet. So he's thinking of the right things as far as, research-wise, like historical context and the language and all that's important to get familiar with the culture of the time and whatnot, and their uses of expressions, which us in the West is different, like figures of speech in that biblical time and whatever idioms or whatever you call them. It's important to get familiar with that kind of thing. Otherwise, we're going to be believing that women get saved by bearing children. That kind
Steph's
of thing.
basically like a saint at this point, then, if that's the case. Hey, Oliver. Hey, Greg. What's up? You know what? Exercise stinks. I have this habit of whenever I get involved in something, I tend to either not be interested at all and not get involved in it, or I take it to the extreme, because that's what I do. So recently I was not exercising for the longest time, and people are like, bro, exercise. So I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll get back into it. So I'm like, okay, how do I do this? So I've done all these different diets, I've done all these different routines, training, cardio training, strength training, all this other stuff. The one thing I haven't tried is eating a ton of calories and then working myself to death. So I'm like, you know what, let me try this, because last time I was doing some strength training, I was not eating a ton of calories. So, if you work your muscles and stuff to fatigue, but you don't have all the protein and all the calories to build it up and replace, well, don't be surprised when you don't get bigger. And I didn't get bigger, only my belly. So anyway, I'm like, well, you know what? Let me try this and see if that happens. And I lasted about 2 days. So I worked really hard, completely fatigued, all that stuff. But then when it came time to do calorie replenishment, it's like, bro, you need 150 grams of protein every day. I'm like, what? And it's like, you need to eat at least 2,500 calories. I'm like, because most things, people will just assume you eat 2,000 calories a day. So I don't know if I have the genetics of like a starving Somali, but I'm like, okay, well, I thought I ate a lot. My belly definitely says I eat a lot. But when it came time to eat it, and they said protein's more filling, so I'm like, dude, I got 120 grams of protein from like some nutritional shakes and stuff, which was difficult because each one's 400 calories. So I usually do a single scoop, but I had to do a double scoop, which is actually their recommended serving size is 2 scoops, but it's very filling. So I forced myself to eat 3 of these shakes. Which was only 1,200 calories, but it was 120 grams of protein. So then I still didn't have anywhere near my calories or my protein. So I ate some peanut butter, I ate some peanuts to, hurry up and catch up to the 150 grams of protein. And then I still had a calorie deficit. So I had to eat another real food evening meal on top of that. By the time I shoveled all this stuff in my face, I have felt sick and like vomiting for the last 2 days. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. And today I'm supposed to go back to the gym and, repeat the cycle again. And I'm like, I just feel like crap. So I'm like, I don't know, after a week things adjust, or yeah, if anyone knows anything about fitness, this is one thing I have not tried, but I'm trying to commit. Hold on. I'm trying to commit, but I feel like I am force-feeding myself, like I'm trying to be a sumo wrestler or something, and I just want to puke everywhere, and I am about to say, no, I'm done. This is not for me. Yes, Chris.
So, lean proteins that are bioavailable instead of trying to drink meal replacement shakes are going to be the way to go. Chicken and broccoli, my friend. Chicken and broccoli.
If you try to eat 150, eggs. If you try to eat 150 grams of protein of that, you're going to have to eat like a chicken house. But still, it's just the calories.
It's not that.
Wait, why are you trying to hit 150 grams of protein?
Because you read somewhere that you need that much.
This is one
That's
thing I've not
not true, dude. It's like 50 is good for a dude.
Okay, so I think 150 is extreme. But again, remember, if you were listening, I'm trying to commit to different routines that I previously have not. But, I think that's a bunch of nonsense. But 50 seems...
50 is pretty low. But,
yeah.
Look, I've been doing this thing for, almost 2 years. I've put on muscle. I've dropped a whole bunch of fat. I can tell you that just eating clean, lean proteins, turkey, fish, lots of white fish, some red fish like salmon, lots of roasted turkey breast, lots of chicken, grilled chicken, specifically like grilled chicken breast is really good. On occasion, you can fry off a chicken thigh, make a chicken sandwich for yourself, that kind of thing. Avoid the carbs, sugar, fat, salt, and alcohol, and you'll get results. It's just it's inputs and outputs, man.
Well, again, what are the results? Because the results were to bulk up and add some more muscle. I don't mean like measurable muscle. I mean actually add a little bit to the physique. But it's easier to tell myself it's all vanity. I'm going to be more holy and just be malnourished.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get swole, you're gonna get 800 different opinions from all these dudes, and basically they're all just roided out, and everything they're telling you is complete nonsense. Because the only reason they're swole is because they're roided out.
You know what? That's what I wonder a lot. Because there's this guy. I seriously doubt he's on steroids. He's like a teenager. So yeah, I don't know. But he seems like a pretty upstanding guy. So
when I was in wrestling in high school, I got offered steroids.
You offered people steroids? Okay.
No, I got offered steroids. Obviously,
you were a steroid dealer.
Oh my gosh! I'm gonna kill you.
I'm
gonna send you a confetti bomb in your router box.
Chris didn't do steroids. He did not do steroids. Okay. Hang on.
No, I'm naturally
okay. Yeah. So this guy,
awesome.
taught my kids karate. So he taught my kids karate, is taekwondo or whatever. But he had a brother who was I think he was in middle school when I first met him. He's this tall, skinny kid. And then I didn't see him for a year. And I saw his mom one night was at our community center. I'm like, oh hey, how's it going? How have your kids been? This dude comes up. He looks like one of the cavemen from that. It wasn't the Geico commercial. It was like some commercial like that where it was like this bodybuilder caveman guy. Who is that? Or no, it's a famous guy on
Talking
TikTok.
about Liver King?
Yeah, he looks like freaking Liver King. Which I'm just like
Liver King,
hang on, don't ruin this for me.
On steroids.
Okay, well fine. Okay, but the point is this kid now is probably 14 or 15, probably 15. And he comes out looking like a caveman Liver King guy. He has long, stringy, unkempt hair. The dude's just he comes up. He's in swim trunks, going to the pool. He's like, "Hey, mom." I'm like, "I didn't know you had another son." He's like, "No, that's whatever his name was." I'm like, "No, it's not." And the kid's 15, so I doubt he was on steroids. Anyway, but I'm like, "What did he do?" And his mom's like, yeah, he just got really into like fitness and health, and he spends like all of his time at the gym. He wakes up in the middle of the night to eat. Like he eats like $4,000, 4,000 calories a day. I cannot keep food in the house. I'm like, it's crazy. Like I don't want to discourage it, but I can't keep feeding this kid. I'm like, wow. So I guess you can do this naturally. And I've seen him since then, and he seems a little smaller. So I'm like, well, maybe he's
15, bro.
I'm just telling my story, Chris. The point is, it seems like it can be done, but I don't even know what the point was. That with you being a story dealer, I don't even know what what I was trying to talk about originally. But anyway, yeah, to get like that kid, or to get like bodybuilder, without steroids, you have to eat like 4,000 calories a day. No one's trying to do that. I'm not trying to do that. I was just trying to eat a little more than maintenance mode. Because I'm like in my 40s. I'm not trying to be like Schwarzenegger and Conan or anything.
It's much harder when you're older. Like
I know.
You
Right,
know.
which is why I'm just going to tell myself I'm going to be more holy and do none of it.
Or you could just do a modicum of it. Like, you don't have to go. You are an extreme person. You bounce between extremes.
That's what I said. Had you got here in time, you would have heard me. You know what? I am like one of the lady folk who want to just air their issues with the world and have people listen and agree with everything they say. They don't really want solutions, Chris. So,
you just wanted
agree.
people to listen. I see.
Yes.
I'm not used to that with non-ladies. So
This must be my.
see, if Steph were telling her story, I'd just let her tell her story because I knew she just needed to get it out. And then
this
I'd
must
listen
be
and
my
just
part
nod
in
head.
my monthly man cycle, because
Yeah.
apparently we have those.
Well, you are. Well, no, because you're in a house full of women, so therefore your cycle is set to theirs.
Well, this is where that conversation ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's enough about Nate's exercise routine. If anyone has a question, how did people live in the time of our Lord? They may have had some fish. It seems like mostly people were like, I know Jesus says we live by not by bread alone, but a lot of times it seems like they were living by like a piece of hardened, aged bread alone, because there was nothing else for them to eat.
Well, that's probably true. They had like Jesus would have eaten like barley bread, and then on occasion they would get wheat bread. Like,
Wait, would that have been like Ezekiel bread, like the millet?
I don't know. It was the cheap peasant bread. So like barley bread was just considered kind of crap bread, and like rich people would never eat barley bread, but most of your peasants were eating barley bread, and they would bake it every day. It would be baked hard, and then you would have to soak it in water, kind of like hardtack, and then eat it. But they would get 60% of their calories from bread.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Like, how did they...
The only reason I know that is I literally just watched this, like, nutritionist lady who was, like, going through, like, what were the foods that Jesus would have eaten in Israel and showing, like, all of the local foods to, like, Nazareth. And it was fascinating. I was like, whoa.
But how do they live? Okay, hey, top theologians of all time. This is not if you agree. It's more like I'm just saw like 4 names. Okay, it's more like
Joel Osteen.
Wait,
Sure.
hang on. I saw some names that you would agree with. So I was gonna say it's more like how hard do you disagree, but I saw some names you'd like in there too. So I'm just gonna read top theologians. I assume this is a meme of some kind. I don't even know where it's from. Starting with number 20. These people shouldn't be in the top 10,000.
You can't even get it out. That's so funny.
It gets better. Top 20. Number 20, John Hagee. 19, Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen.
19, Joel Osteen. 18, Charles Spurgeon. Kirk Cameron. John Calvin, 16. Russell Brand, 15. Steve Lawson, 14. Mark Driscoll, 13. Psalty the Singing Songbook at 12. J.R.R. Tolkien at 11. Tim Keller, 10. Shane and Shane, number 9.
Wait, what's Shane and Shane?
The Christian music group. The contemporary music group. Shane and Shane, dude. Look them up. It's like a contemporary Christian music group.
All right.
Check out Psalms 45. That's like the only song of theirs I know. It's pretty catchy. Mostly for the music. Anyway, it's good. Shane and Shane, Psalms 45, I think it is. The Lord of Hosts one. That's the only one I really know. It's good. I like that one. But anyways, Contemporary Christian singers. Number 8, Doug Wilson. Number 7, Martin Luther. Number 6, Kenneth Copeland. Number 5, John MacArthur. Number 4, Beth Moore. Is that the first lady so far?
Yeah.
Number 3, Donald Trump. Number 2, Steven Anderson. And number 1, Redeemed Zoomer. I don't know if that's a certain tag of a person or if that's an entire group.
That's a YouTuber. You don't know who Redeemed Zoomer is?
Are they good? Are they
No,
theologically sound?
He's horrendously terrible. He's actively like one of the worst people on YouTube, and it's hilarious.
Okay. Does this fall under brain rot? Is that
That would fall under brain rot, yeah.
Christian
It's just
brain rot?
it's rage bait is what it is. I think it'd be falling under rage bait.
I don't think you could say that because I mean there's some solid names in there, but I mean maybe they're
Well, the
just
rage
in
bait is to put the
the wrong-
solid names with the crazy people.
But when you're putting Psalty the Singing Psalmbook, I mean, you just gotta
That's pretty good, dude.
Salty's spelled P.S. like
So-
Psalm.
My kid just had to do a presentation in his Bible class, and it was, so they have these things like where you have to discern. So like his teacher is like real big on discernment, and so he was like, "What could I pick?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. What do you want to do?" He's like, "Maybe I could do Phil Vischer." And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like the creator of VeggieTales, and he's like a complete nutbag now, like. I mean, an utter and complete nutbag. And so he did his whole presentation on Phil Vischer, and people were shocked. And then, because Phil Vischer's like super pro-choice and like all this stuff. And like, the VeggieTales are all about aborting baby peas.
Let's listen to Psalty the Singing Psalmbook for just a moment. You guys, oh Lord. Oh, you must go. Oh Lord. YouTube.com/@questionsaboutchristianity, and you can watch this. Or Google its nightmare yourself. This is the scariest thing I've seen in my life. Did they say hallelujah razor?
I can raise the roof, stick around, I'll give you proof with a heartfelt song, a praise-filled shout. I love to let my praises out.
Oh, and I love skipping too. Clap your hands. Turn around. Hug a friend.
Okay. That was one of the more scary things I have seen. Ever.
All right. I'm going to give you a tech pro tip. Please go download Loopback for the love of God.
Okay, before we start a 30-minute tech conversation I don't want to have, I can explain the reasons why everything is wrong and bad, but why do you say that, Chris? And Steph, wait, you're about to get in the car for your kids. YouTube Psalty the Singing Psalmbook and let them listen to a little bit of it on their ride to school and report back to us with your findings. Yes, Chris. What is Loopback? I think Lou's told me about this before.
Right. Loopback is a program for the Mac that you can download that you can put different inputs into Clubhouse, multiple different inputs, like a sound mixing board. And so what it'll do is, like, if you're going to play something like that, which was very, very low that we could barely hear it, Loopback will play perfect quality audio through both Clubhouse and your recording, wherever you're recording to.
Okay, so Lou, is this the thing you told me about before? Steph, acknowledge you're putting this train wreck on for your kids. I just need a happy face or something. Just say you'll do this. I want to hear what they think about this. Okay, so yes, let's talk about this later because I would
Hold
be
on, I
in-
heard Steph acknowledge what as I was wrestling my child into the car.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Please, how long is your school ride? Okay, ignore your family for just a minute. How
Minutes
long
from-
does it take to get to school?
Wait, I had to hop off my Wi-Fi. What did you say?
How long does it take to get your kids to school?
How 4 minutes?
Okay, Google Psalty the Singing Psalmbook.
Oh, I don't need to. I already know that.
Do they know that?
Do my kids? No, I have not done Psalty. Okay, so
Then yes. So Google or YouTube Psalty the Singing Psalmbook. Let them watch this nightmare on the way to school and report back with what they thought of it.
this sounds like a terrible idea. I don't know if I want to do this.
Fantastic idea. Peter's
I
gonna
just
love it.
I just want to know what they think about it. I've watched 30 seconds of it and it's pretty scary.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to mess them up.
I mean, I think the
Too late.
lyrics are probably sound. Okay, so yeah, I want to know more about the Loopback thing. That would be
I'll
helpful.
talk to you about it offline.
Okay,
but
great,
Basically,
great.
like, yes, it's so if you've ever heard when I play recordings on my club deck, they're crisp and perfect, and it's because it's just going through the computer. It's not going through a microphone. It's not a speaker to a microphone. It's just going through the computer. It's loopback audio. So it's by Rogue Amoeba.
Sounds wonderful. Hey, Greg, what's up?
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Chris, what's going on?
I loved your idea yesterday. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I've got 3 already.
Yeah.
Cultist followers? What?
Slaves.
Sure, why not?
Maybe you should explain a little more, Greg.
No, I'd prefer. Could you take it over?
We're
from
probably good.
He
Greg
means aborted minority or not aborted minority baby slaves.
I never said they had to be minorities.
Uh-oh.
Steph,
White
Can you-
people can live too. White people can be slaves too.
can I do a poll on Club Deck?
I don't know.
Can you make a poll out of Kratos' question in chat?
What is the question?
If Jesus stood on a river, would he stay still on it or move like a conveyor belt? I'm taking a survey.
I wish I could do that, but I'm driving. That's a very funny question.
I've heard that one before. It's pretty good. I
have not
say
heard
he
that.
could do whatever he wants.
Is there like an
No.
answer from John 6, like before the foundations of the world or something like that? Or like,
Most answers of most things are in John 6. It's correct, however, that is not.
I can't do a poll on Club Deck.
If you give me the mods, I will gladly do the poll. And then I'll place myself right back down the audience.
He is trustworthy like that.
There you go. There you go.
All right. And there's another one I do want to ask too, but I'll just wait until we get some answers here.
Yeah, Nate, where are your answers?
I ain't got no answers. I'm running scared.
Let's see. Make this poll.
Yeah, so, yeah. Oh,
I think I have the answer to this, but I
You
want to see
do?
what other people say first.
Is it whatever Jesus wants it to be? Is that the answer? Like maybe some days he'll conveyor, maybe some days he'll stay stationary.
Yeah, well, obviously the answer is he could do whatever he wanted, yes.
Can you thwart the will of God with water currents?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's along the lines of what I'm thinking, but I don't want to muddy the water.
Muddy the water, kind of like taking steps in it.
Unintended.
Did I miss something else?
I don't know.
By the way, why can't I leave you people, by you people, I mean apparently Steph and Chris, alone for 30 seconds in a room without all chaos breaking out?
Bruh, I did nothing yesterday.
I believe you.
Uh-huh.
It's always Chris.
I was peaceably trying to save someone from being brutalized by Christopher, and now I'm pretty sure that
Brutalized.
someone is not coming back to the room ever.
Wait,
Yeah.
he swore he's never coming back to the room ever?
I don't know. He's not here today, and he's usually here every day.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
or
your fault
maybe
too,
he's
Chris.
busy. Hey, man, I just had questions.
Did he have answers?
You did not have questions. You literally said you will be held accountable for every aborted baby that you voted for. That's
Oh,
not even
that's
as
true.
clear as you said it. You said
But
it way
as-
worse than that.
But as we also know, Chris is beholden to say, no matter what accountability is, if your name is in the Lamb's Book of Life, you're still not somehow excluded from heaven. You'll be held accountable by some other means, maybe a little square footage chopped off your mansion home in heaven, but it's not like your accountability ends with you in the lake of fire if you are redeemed by the blood of Jesus. So, I mean, held accountable sounds bad, but it's not like eternal hellfire bad, if we're talking about a Christian.
Right. But if you're also continually for your entire life willfully sinning and making an idol out of other things, then you should probably question where you're at.
That is true, but someone can legitimately
person.
be incredibly ignorant. Again, I'm not talking about this one person. I'm talking across everyone, because there are some people would be like, dude, you are willfully you're like being willfully evil and knowledgeable of your evil involvement at this point. There is no way you're this dumb. But as I've come to know, yes, it is my firm belief people can be this dumb. So when we're like, dude, you are willfully participating in evil at this point, you know better. And I believe there is a lot of people that legit don't know better, and it drops our jaw. But it's like, no, for whatever reason, God has stricken you with incredible ignorance. So you're just like one of the little lost sheep that Jesus is very slowly drawing back to himself. But good Lord, can you please hurry up?
Well, like, I don't know, Greg, what was your take on that yesterday?
I kind of, I was like in and out of consciousness, to be perfectly honest with you, for most of it. But correct me if I'm wrong, was he defending like the right of a person to abort a baby? Was that what he said? I have that right, and no one can tell me otherwise.
No, he was saying that he has every right to vote Democrat, even though the fruit of that is 60 million dead. And so the trade-off that he sees is that the Republicans hurt his fifis, and he's willing to murder 60 million people because his fifis have been hurt.
Gotcha. Well, to be perfectly honest, I mean, I don't even think if we had an all-Republican everything, President, House, Senate, Supreme Court, I still don't think they'd ever end abortion.
Oh, I agree.
So I don't. But then again,
there's a baseline that Christians can't vote for Democrats because you're just voting for Moloch at that point, and then we deal with like, well, now we separate the Republican Party into two parties, and then start having elections again, because like you just have to you have to move the Overton window to where we're not sacrificing children on the altar of Molech, and we're also not transing the kids and doing all these other wild things. And then we can get back down to two political parties and quibble about tax rates and whatever else.
Yeah, let's start with not sacrificing babies to demons. And I want to say we can all agree, but we can't.
But we can't. So my thing is, if you fancy yourself as a teacher in God's church and you are actively telling your people that the sacrifice of babies is perfectly okay as long as somebody doesn't hurt our fifis, then you, sir, will be judged.
What does that look like to you? I almost said Christian. I guess I could. Christian Chris. If someone is, let's just assume they're not, they are in the body of Christ, so they're eternally saved. What would judgment look like if you know it's not hellfire because they are saved?
Right. So, I mean, that's actually a really good question. And while Pop is on the stage, I refuse to answer. No,
because he knows I have the correct answer.
No, because I don't want to get into an hour debate about.
I will take a solemn oath, due to my extreme apathy. I do want to hear each of your answers, and then it will immediately end.
All right. Well, let me just
Chris,
say
so I think that
Chris
the
will be
tiers
stirred up to have to respond.
Yeah, so I think that the tears that are wiped away are going to be the realization of our own sins as we are judged at the judgment seat of Christ. And
So he'll basically say, I'm not sending you to hell, but I'm disappointed. And you're like, ah! Okay.
Yes, exactly. Like, like when your parents are like, it's not like when they're mad at you. That's the most
Not mad, I'm
devastating
just
thing.
disappointed.
I'm disappointed, Nate. And then it's
Kratos.
like, that's the most and by the way, I think that rewards are not stuff that you get in heaven or you get extra, whatever,
Square footage.
kudos or square footage. I think the rewards that you get in heaven are the people that God worked through you to bring about his own glory.
And Kratos, you have some sort of purgatory?
No, no. I will say, wow, and they call my branch the softy side. I believe God's gonna be a little harder than that. So these people are going to find themselves at the judgment seat. Now, maybe I don't know for this specific crime, but I could tell you what happens to the naughty Christian boys and girls. They get a cosmic pow-pows. They get a divine pow-pows at the judgment seat, also in this life too. And they won't be able to answer through the narrow gate. They go through the wide gate where they go to waste. Possible millennial denial of I'll just say millennial disinheritance. They don't get to reign because they didn't suffer with Christ. They didn't have that righteousness. They're passing the Pharisees to be the greatest. So they're put off to the least. So it's a little more than just a wag of the finger. There's some real pow-pows that God's gonna deliver.
Is it bad that with most academian pursuits, most things in life, I aim for good enough? Is it bad that, like, does it give anybody really, like, a shiver down your spine when, like, a Hebrew Israelite or someone's, like, has you read the verse, like you haven't read it 1,000 times, and they're like, hey, go to this verse. I forget where it is. But it's the one that says, if you don't keep these laws and teach other people to also do likewise and not keep these laws, you shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Like, that's almost like a bolster in my step. Does anyone be like, oh, wait, I got to really understand the context of this, and I have to learn Greek for this because I don't want to be called least in the kingdom of heaven. I'm like, bro, that's like a feather plume in my hat. I'm like, bro, look, if I'm least in the kingdom of heaven, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. Like, I just want to be in the kingdom of heaven. Like, if I don't have like a shining steed or a stallion, if I'm riding around on a donkey, like, the goal is heaven. As long as I'm there, like, I'll be a stable boy in heaven. Like, that's like what I'm aiming for.
I don't think that's the Bible's attitude towards that. I think that Jesus does offer real incentive to do it, not just with the promise of rewards, but also the promise of chastisement, should you not aim for that. So you could go for least, but it comes with quite a cost. I mean, you could look at exclusion from the wedding banquet. Again, kind of being put to shame at the judgment seat, seeing your entire life wasted. Like, you will weep and gnash your teeth at it.
Okay, you're being more serious than I thought we were going to be. I was talking about my general apathy for academia and stuff like that. Like in school, I didn't aim for A's and got C's. I kind of aimed for C's and prayed for D minuses. So again, the context is keeping the law. I'll tell you the story in a minute. So the idea is keeping the law, right? So like in this regard, it's not like of course we're aiming to be as Christ-like as we can, right? So I guess you could say, okay, fine, Nate's aiming for A's in heaven. But the point is, it's like, if they're right, because they're wrong anyway. So this whole thing is on a faulty premise that you have to keep the law to be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. That's all bunk, right? So it's like, well, look, guys, if you're right, I'm still in heaven. If the Christians are right, and we are, you're not in heaven at all. That's the bigger problem. So even if you're right, I'm still in heaven. But you're not. So yes, it's not like I'm trying to be like, well, I'm saved by God, I'm going to go rob a bank. No, that's not what I mean by not caring or not aspiring. So if we're going to be super serious, anyways, yes. So my academia and career went somehow like. My parents, who were very close to God, very holy living people, my grandparents, read her Bible probably more than anyone I've ever known put together. She's lived in the Bible and prayer, and she's basically like a monk, a monkess. Anyway, as holy as my family was, we would pray for D minuses on tests so I could graduate school. It's like we didn't. Does that mean we didn't have enough prayer or faith,
Wild,
or
bro.
it's like,
Or
or
you
we?
just studied more.
Come on, are we being serious or not?
Hey. So my kid, get this.
I
my
like
kid
to think
had
I make up for it in street smarts.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
Thanks for your prayers, Mom.
My kid, on the flip side of that, my kid just wrote a paper on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and it was a in-class essay timed right. You know, they do these things now because they don't. So you know what and Nate, you probably know this because you have kids about this age. Like they're trying to get to make sure that kids aren't using AI to write essays. So now they're doing in-class handwritten timed writes. Are you aware of this?
I was not, but that's a good idea.
That's so smart.
Yeah, so that's how they're getting around that. And so, anyway, so he had to write an essay on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and he could have Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but he also wrote notes in his book out to the margins, and so he actually wrote little things where. So we've been reading. Okay, now do not judge me, but we have been reading David Hume's Problem of Induction essay, and we've been reading Aristotle's Ethics, and we've also been reading Kant's Critique of Pure Reason. So all three of those, we're going through those together, and I'm explaining as we go because they're kind of hard to read.
That's why you laugh so hard at that meme.
And so, but he wrote out to, I didn't know this, but he wrote out to the side on the margins, like notes about Immanuel Kant and how it relates to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And so he sees Mary Shelley's Frankenstein not as a horror, a Gothic horror. He sees it as an expositional essay on Kantian versus Humean philosophy.
Oh my gosh, just give me a D- already.
And so he was like, I think I told you about this when he figured this out for the first time, but then like he's been developing that, and he wrote quotes from Kant and Hume and all this stuff out, and then like he wrote them in his timed right and did the references, and I was like, oh my goodness, like you're writing references in a timed right. That's okay. And so yeah, that was kind of wild yesterday. So that's on the flip side of your praying for a D-. This kid's trying to write a doctoral thesis.
Yeah, so a movie about a monster is really a postmodern European civil Gothic Aristotelian take on postmodernism. Ugh.
It's pretty, and his take was actually really good. And then get this,
Can he just watch a movie for a movie? I should introduce him to my cousin. Well, yeah, whatever that.
Frankenstein was a movie, right? I'm like, no, man. There's like an actual book.
Does everything you know about me make more sense now? I should introduce your son to my cousin, who is completely the opposite of me. Like, they would be on the same wavelength about all of this stuff. I'm like, just play Duck Hunt or something, or play Fortnite, shoot some people in the face.
Oh
gosh. Video games.
This kid.
They'd be like, actually, the video game Fortnite came from the problem of da-da-da.
Did I send you his favorite new comedian? Papa, you would love this girl. She's probably about your age. You should probably go seek her out.
Christian comedian?
I doubt she's a Christian, but she's
who is it?
Hilarious. Well, Papa's a free gracer, so it doesn't matter.
I'm going to talk about him. I'm talking about me. What's the woman's name?
Oh, Camille Cook. And so, she does all of this comedy on philosophy, and it's hilarious. And so, she does these really bad green screens. And so she just literally, she's like this college kid that just has a green sheet in her apartment, and she just stands in front of it and does these like skits with like fake mustaches.
Is a
very, very funny.
Is this her? Here, appreciate the non-loop back.
For Christians. But they never talk about the first one. They don't talk about the first supper because everyone was sitting around the table normally instead of all on one side. And the guy couldn't paint them like that. There is a painting, but it's just everyone's back is turned. I think it's really mean that we call the Virgin Mary the Virgin Mary. Is that how people referred to her while she was alive? Did she just walk into a room and everyone was like, oh my God, it's the Virgin Mary? She was like, is it really that obvious? You leave her alone.
Is that her?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, but like her skits, that was her first time doing stand-up. Her skits are really funny. So she does like Joan of Arc meets the Divine Void, and so that one's pretty good. She does Salvation Inc. about Johann Tetzel and indulgences, and she does she's like, I'm gonna go for a walk, and then she's like, oh no, I'm caught in Zeno's paradox, and because Zeno's paradox is like you can.
Are you saying we can't just laugh for the sake of laughing? We have to know stuff. Is that what you're saying? If we watch this person, Chris,
you might need like 10th grade philosophical education to get some of her jokes.
If I were king, first of all, you'd all be in dungeons. Secondly, if I brought you out to be like the court jester, you would do some nonsense like this, right? You wouldn't just like bust an egg over your head. You'd be like, actually, the egg is a metaphor for like, take him away.
Off with his head.
Well, that would be unchristian. That is funny. I have to listen to more of that, though. I'll have to have AI explain the hard parts.
She's very funny. So she, but anyway, so he found her. I was like, all right, she's real funny.
Is she like a major comic or like a YouTube comic, or is she well known?
She's very niche. She's like a college student. She's up in Steph's neck of the woods. So
she's going
just
to
a college kid.
Okay, I'm not gonna make a joke.
I think she goes to Cornell.
Oh, she's gonna be ruined there. Then get her out of there.
I mean, I'm not the boss, sir.
I mean, it's worth having your son send like a fan email and be like, "Hey, I'm a fan. I just want to say you're doomed if you go there. The light in your philosophical eye will be dimmed and snuffed out. Leave now. Your biggest fan."
That may be effective.
Steph, your kid should have been dropped off 9 minutes ago. 6 minutes ago.
Yes, I have been listening to y'all this whole time. We're both sick again, so we were commiserating about how we're sick again.
Wait, who? You're both sick again?
Yeah, I would just think it's like intense GI, well, not intense, but it's really bad nausea and then GI symptoms. And then both of us have like weak knees and tingling in our feet. What in the world is that? I need a nurse to tell me what that is.
Okay, you need to.
It's Ebola.
It's kind of like something like that,
You need to apply the Levitical prescription. Let's just say for uncleanliness, or after you touch a dead body, or when husbands need to separate from their wives for certain times. Let's just say one of you lives in a. Do you have like an outhouse or like an outer house, not outhouse, but like
not anymore. We sold the camper.
Okay. One of you go live in the basement. One of you live in like the second story for like 2 weeks and just completely isolate from each other. Let your kids have the middle of the house and just throw food down to them or something. And just get away from each other for a while in isolation.
You're suggesting that she let her children run Lord of the Flies style in her house? I don't know if that's going to work out.
I know who would come out on top of that, by the way. It would be Peter.
Well,
Peter would
yeah,
absolutely.
He is going to wreck everybody, but yeah.
No morals whatsoever. That would just be a.
You know what? We have this neighbor who I am dear friends with, and so my parents are visiting, and they usually kind of stay away from my parents are visiting because they know that my kids don't really do much they don't want to play and stuff with them because I want them to spend time with my parents because they're only here so much. So it's been like 10 days and we haven't heard a peep from them. I saw them outside once. I waved and said hi, but we haven't heard from them. So like yesterday, I'm like, well, hey, I dropped my parents off at the airport. I'm like, I text. I'm like, hey, you guys want to hit the pool tonight? I'm like, my parents are gone. Dropped them off, and she's like, well, maybe my kid, she was sick all last week with a flu and a fever. I'm like, oh. She's like, her fever broke and she just went back to school Friday, so she's still drained. But, my other kid and my husband may come up, and I have a really awful sickness too. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to keep him home then. So the moral of the story is these people are very much of the philosophy, I'm going to say probably like Steph, that's like, nah, put sick kids around sick kids, build up immunity, get it all over with at once, like chicken pox, like get all the kids together, let them all get chicken pox, and then we're all fine. I am not of that philosophy. I'm like, you stay as far away as the east from the west. If you have a sniffle, you keep yours away. So I don't want to be rude or mean, but I'm like, look, I'm like a bit of a germaphobe. I'm a giant baby when I get sick. So when my kids come home and they're like, so-and-so is sick, they were coughing, I'm like, you are banished to your room. Stay on that side of the house. Do not cross this line. The line shall be drawn here. No further. Here. Like, do not cross that line.
That is crazy. I can't wait until I get to that point where I can be like, all right, kids, you are all over there. Because right now it's, Mommy, I'm sick, and then there's vomit in my lap, and there's boogers all over my shirt.
Yeah, they're wiping their boogers on your bed sheets. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, on the wall, but yeah.
It's disgusting.
I clean them off. It's okay.
Hey, it's Devin. Hold on, Devin.
Hey, Sean. Yeah, Sean.
Hey, Nate.
Sean and Devin. What's up, Sean?
What's up, Nate? What's up? What's up, Tina Marie?
That's me. How's it going, Sean?
Everybody get up. Da, 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 da.
Glad to see you back here. I was very worried you wouldn't come back.
No.
I heard Chris is being a bully.
He tried.
Devin, it's so good to see you as part of the Anglican Union.
Oh, he's off Sean now, and he's on Devin, so maybe we're safe for today.
Yeah. Yeah, you see me explode, and I don't explode that often.
You exploded?
He got a little mad. I would call it a 5 out of 10 on like the rage scale, though.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Are you home now?
No, they have to do one more procedure on me, which is Thursday.
You're in there till Thursday?
Well, no, Thursday they gotta do something to get this. Yeah, take this thing out my neck.
Well, right. I mean, you were supposed to go home yesterday, but they're like, no, just kidding. Now you're here until at least Thursday when we do more stuff, and then...
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. My wife's not a happy camper, and neither am I.
Man.
Yeah, because the grands have been having, they think they got run of the house.
While the cat's away, the mice are playing.
Yeah.
I mean, your wife seems like she could put the hammer down on that.
Well, the thing about it is, she does. But they're getting up, and I'm gonna sound like my grandmother, rest her soul, 4:00 in the morning, and grabbing food out the refrigerator, leaving a mess all over the dining room table, or taking or having a trail of Cheerios going up the stairs. So, my wife, when she really blows, is like Mount Vesuvius. All right.
Does she make him go get a switch out the front yard and bring it back to her?
She has 3 long switches braided already. Ready, and when she does, I'm like, wait a minute, y'all.
By the way, did you guys notice how I didn't prepare at all today, and it's been way better than yesterday?
I like your little survey.
Not enough people have answered, I don't feel.
Oh, is the survey going on yet?
Yeah,
It doesn't even show it to me. Who's winning?
Got PTR. Where?
Nah, it doesn't work in Club
He's
Deck.
on Club Deck.
So
Still
what's the
is
results?
winning. Well, wait a minute. I'm only seeing. Wait, mine is off. Hold
How
on.
many people have voted?
I don't think mine is showing me
5.
correctly.
Only 5 people care about this.
So the people who are saying still, just to remind you, you're basically saying Jesus could just walk up a waterfall.
You don't muddy the freaking water. All right, everybody, please vote so we can have this conversation.
Okay,
Felix,
if Jesus stood on a
vote.
river, would
Devin,
he stay
vote.
still, or would it move like a conveyor belt? Well, I'm gonna say,
Mouse, Lou, Philip, Francis, Shawnee,
you know, I'm gonna.
Patricia, John, please vote.
I mean, all these answers are considered equal because
Don't muddy the water. Just let people vote.
So I suppose Jesus could walk up rain.
Wait, what are we voting for?
The poll at the top. If Jesus stood on a river, would he stay still on it or would he move like a conveyor belt? Please cast your
They
vote.
can't hear me, but the answer doesn't matter. It's whatever Jesus wants to do. If he wants to walk, if he wants to hover, if he wants to fly,
Thank you.
It's whatever he wants to do.
Thank you, Shawnee.
Now they
Keep
can
them
hear
coming.
me. All right, tell us who's winning.
Right now we have still with 60% and move with 40. Patricia voted. I don't know if mine is staying updated though. I'm still only seeing 5 votes.
I see 8 votes. Still is winning.
I see 67% and 34.
Okay. Yeah, mine doesn't update unless I leave the room and come back.
No,
I
you
can
can't
see
do
that people did vote though. Thank you, Mouse. Lou. Thank you, Philip. Francis, Lou, Devin, Greg.
This is good.
I don't know, bro.
I
You
want to
don't
vote
know?
for
Just
option
pick
3.
one.
I have
Okay.
one more poll idea after this. Hold on, let's see if we get to 15 votes. Ten votes, not bad.
We got 10 now. Okay, I would say at 11. If one more person votes, I would say we should have the conversation.
Okay.
Well,
One more
15
person,
would be
please.
everybody.
Kratos, is good to see you, Papa Kratos.
Johan in the audience, please vote. Francis, thank you. Wait, did that make it 50-50? No, because it's an odd number.
55-46. All right, so look, my logic is simply this. 1 second. All right, so my logic is this. If you're saying he wouldn't move, then you're saying Jesus could walk up a waterfall. And look, I know he's God. It's logically possible. But it's also you saying he could walk up rain. And I just thought that's hard for me to picture. So, and I think him being more relatable to us, I think he'd want to move like a conveyor belt on it.
Okay.
So that's my logic behind it. I get it. He can do all things, but I think if he chose what he's going to do, he's going to move down that conveyor belt.
I would say that Jesus was not tossed about by the waves of the storm. He had complete and utter control over the molecules of water and was not impacted by them, or else he would have been like jumping up and down like on a trampoline or something, and I assume he wasn't. So I voted still.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, still or move, that doesn't matter because the real answer is whatever Jesus wants to do. So maybe he wants to be like, I'm going to stand here and move. Or he's like, I'm going to stand here and not move. So it's really, you got to be like, hey,
It's
Jesus,
how he
what?
worked out. He would just,
saying
he would
more
just
in terms of
stand on the
character.
Jordan River as a treadmill, and then he could just do his steps.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if he wanted to be like the airport conveyor belt where he wanted to go with it and, make it a little easier and like move double speed, he could go with the current, or he could do the exercise one.
Look, when it says would do, I'm just saying what would Jesus do? Like, I think he would move down the conveyor belt because that's cooler. And even to standing on this, we don't know that he stood still. He could have been moving up and down. Maybe that's why Peter lost balance.
That's good.
So, I'm on team conveyor belts because I think that's what makes more sense, and I think that that really helps demonstrate the hypostatic union, because it shows the human sides of Jesus as well.
All right, so in the chat, Lou says to say move means he would not have control. So the real question is, does God have control? See, Lou, that's what I thought also.
Except if in
Right.
his control, he's like, I'm going to stand here and, let the current that I set in motion before time began move me to exactly where I know it's going to move me to because I can.
Oh, so it's kind of like a metaphor for Free Willy. So, like, Jesus ceded the control that he had over the water to the water, so the water could just exert its free will on him.
No, I
Yeah,
The
but
deed,
if he
the
did
deed,
that,
Chris. He
if
gave
he
the
did that
deed
with
away.
the water, it wouldn't mean he did not have authority or control over the water. It meant he wasn't using control over the water, Chris.
Well, I think it's the age-old question: what would Jesus do?
Well, Steph, can we get a real estate expert to pick apart this idea of the kingdom dominion theology, since it was
Yes.
brought up by me in my own mind?
Yes,
So,
but hold
when-
on. I want to read one more before we close this out in the chat. Mouse says he could move if he wanted. He could also swim if he wanted. That makes no sense to me. If he wanted to ride a river, he's not lacking control in any real sense, as he could stand again on it if he wanted to. Mouse has the correct answer there.
So I think he would move. I do have one more poll question, but we can move into this real estate question.
Well, type your poll question in chat, and Steph can put that as the poll while we do the real estate thing. And so type your question, do the poll, and everyone vote. So hopefully by the time we're done with this, we'll have enough data from the poll to move on. So go ahead and do that. Chris, can you please steelman the idea of the kingdom dominion thing, focusing as much as you can on the real estate, the deed and title aspects? It's like, so in my bad way, it's like, look, at the beginning, Adam totally had dominion. God gave Adam and Eve the deed, the quitclaim deed. I don't know if that's right. To their nice shiny house which is planet Earth and all it inhabits. And this is like the however in real estate stuff, you can clarify when it's your time, how it's not just the 2D location like on the surface, but you have mineral rights, you have underground rights, you have sky rights that go up to God gave them all of this deed, and then they, maybe through title theft, because they didn't have LifeLock and Title Protect, Satan came and scammed away their deed to the earth, and now they have to fight in, I guess, the court of supernatural law. So using very legalistic, man-made real estate terms in conjunction with spiritual supernatural warfare, because that makes sense. Chris, could you please steelman that idea of the claims and the deeds and the titles? And then Steph will give us her analysis where this stands or falls as a real estate expert, since that's the world in which they want to play. Go, Chris.
Yeah. So God created all these legal standards outside of himself. These legal standards, God even has to abide by. And so, when he created the earth, he gave dominion to Adam and Eve, which was legal title to the earth and all of its inhabitants. And when Adam and Eve fell, they actually signed over their legal rights to the earth, to Satan. And now Satan has legal title over the earth. And so Satan now has legal title, and the way that Jesus, excuse me.
No, ignore that.
I mean, I've already got a pretty good idea of where this is going.
So what happens is God needed a way to save humanity, so he sends Jesus within the legal framework, becoming a man, because God can't just retake dominion. So, he sends Jesus to become a man and then live a perfect life and die on the cross, not to forgive us our sins, but to retake that legal title from Satan. And so now Jesus has the legal title that he has retaken from Satan, purchasing it on the cross. And then Jesus, gives all of his followers back their dominion over the creation.
All right.
Him.
I just want to say our special guest of the day, Steph, the commercial real estate expert. I don't know if this would qualify as commercial real estate or residential since, the entire planet was the residence. But is this in any way, shape, or form remotely how real estate works? Go.
Yes. So you could, okay. But it wouldn't in this case. So what Chris just described is exactly what you would say, Nate. You said a quitclaim deed or a referee's deed or some kind of deed without warranty or covenant, right? That would mean that the person deeding you the property is giving up all rights to the property and making no promises. Okay? So if we are going to apply this to American property law, which I don't know why we're doing this in the first place because it makes absolutely no sense.
Because angels and demons.
Okay, great. But angels and demons were doing what until American attorneys decided this in the 1800s? Okay, fine. We're in the world of American real property law at this point. In order for this to be accurate, God would have had to relinquish all rights without ever being able to take them back. That is a true quit claim. Okay? So it would have to be then that if God gave Adam and Eve full and complete dominion, God took his hands off and said, I am relinquishing legally in this agreement all rights. Then when Satan came along and put them under duress, and, first of all, that would be an illegitimate contract in real property law because they were under duress. So that's not legal here. Second of all, if somehow Satan came and stole this quitclaim deed that God had completely relinquished all rights over, God couldn't do anything about that in real property law. So the analogy would be like, I lose my house in a foreclosure because that's what's happening in their analogy. I stop paying my mortgage. I stop caring. I stop paying my taxes, all of that. Okay. I lose my property. Someone takes the property and I give them a quitclaim deed legally because I must, because I have relinquished rights. And then at that point, the person who took my property sells it to someone else. I am not able to just sort of come back and be like, I didn't mean to lose that. I didn't mean to not pay my mortgage, right? So no, none of that works at all because God never relinquished any authority or rights. So at best, what God gave them was a life use, okay? And a life use is, let's say that I own a house, but my grandma needs a place to live. So I'm going to tell my grandma, you can stay in this house until you can no longer care for yourself or until you pass away. You have your entire bundle of rights, the air rights, the mineral rights, all of it. You are responsible for taxes. You're doing all of that. Well, technically, I'm still responsible. But anyway, grandma has life use. Then when something happens to grandma, the property reverts back to me. That's more what God did if we're going to put that in real estate terms. It certainly was not a quitclaim. It was a life use. There you go.
You have defeated Kingdom Dominion theology with commercial real estate law. Good job.
I mean, just in case it wasn't clear the first time, putting any of this in terms of post 1800 American real property law is already the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Did you know about this before we just talked about it?
No.
Oh, you've never heard about this before?
I've
deeds
never
and the
heard
legal
that
rights?
that was the reason that they thought that. No.
Oh, bro, that's a big thing, yeah.
Ugh. It's not even the way it works. Like, who told them that? Who
The
told
devil.
them that? Like, do
The
you not
devil.
know how a quitclaim works? Like, that would be God being like, oh, crap, I lost him. That's how a quitclaim works. Like, now there's nothing I can do, and now Satan has control. What a bummer. And then there's no way to get it back. Like, the person who sold the property to Satan doesn't have any rights over it anymore. None of this works.
Is it true if someone misses like a couple years of paying taxes on their property and someone knows that and just goes and pays it for them under their name, like after like a couple years, they just basically get the entire property?
Absolutely not. No.
Well, my retirement plan is crushed.
All you did was you just paid someone else's taxes for them and now they're current again. No. Now, what would work is if you knew someone had a property, and in New York State, it's called the Doctrine of Lachey, and it's 7 years. So it is, if you know someone has a property that they're not using and you begin to maintain it, you start mowing it, and they don't complain, Then you build a little shed on it and they don't complain. Then you put up some fences and they don't complain. And then you build a house and they don't complain. And nothing ever happens legally after 7 years you own it. That's how that works.
So someone has like an abandoned mansion and no one does anything, no one pays taxes for 7 years, and I come mow the house once a month and no one's there, no one complains, it's abandoned, and then I build like a little mother-in-law unit on the very far corner. After 7 years, that mansion is now mine.
Well, the mother-in-law corner would now have an adjoining wall. You would own just what you were using.
Well, no, but I could do that however you said. I could build that unit onto the mansion, and no one complains. Now I own the mansion.
No, not the mansion. You would own the part you were using, and then you would have an adjoining wall with a neighbor.
Fine, I walk in and squat in a mansion for 7 years, and no one complains. Now I own the mansion.
If you can prove that the owner knew about it and took no legal action to stop you, then yes, in the state of New York, you would own it after 7 years.
Huh. Well, if you hear about anything, let me know.
I mean, this does happen all the time. Like, it'll be like, it's more often, oh, someone built the fence in the wrong spot, and now the neighbor for the past 10 years has been mowing this extra 5 feet of land. And then when they do the survey, they realize that the neighbor has been mowing the other person. So then the surveyor will say, oh, well, it's theirs now. And they'll just move.
Okay, so let's go to the next poll. Is this a poll yet, Steph? Have you made that next thing a question?
Oh. Let me see. That was very distracting for me. Go ahead and tell us what it is, Kratos, and I will.
I did in the chat.
It is in the chat. It says, if a mosquito bit Jesus, would it live forever or die?
Bruh.
It would suffer a fate worse than the fig tree, because Jesus would not put up with that nonsense.
But he lived in the you gotta imagine living in Israel. A mosquito must have bit him.
Then, I mean, I don't want to tell Jesus what he should have done, but I mean, it would have been great if Jesus would have been like, you know what, I curse all of you mosquitoes forever. You instantly die, never to reproduce. That would have been pretty solid. They don't serve a purpose, right? Like, they serve no purpose in the ecosystem other than to menace humans and kill us with malaria.
God also created bats, so.
Well, bats can be kind of cute.
No.
The League of Unusually Intelligent Teenagers here, and I'm sad that Devin left, holds to the idea, because we actually have had this conversation, that a mosquito would never bite Jesus because all of creation bows to God and his order. So they would reject this question outright, that a mosquito would assault Christ.
Well, Jesus allowed people to murder him, so couldn't he allow a mosquito to bite him?
I wish I thought of that when we had that conversation.
Because fully human experience, right?
I think the answer is neither. Yeah, okay. This one is a little trickier to answer.
Another one is what filled out Jesus' Y chromosome without a biological father?
He's God.
So if you just like took his DNA under, you just see like God chromosomes there?
Maybe. Or you'd see a Y and be like, how did it get there? And be like, well, he's God. He just did that.
Who's Y?
Wait, before you move on to that, we're not done with mosquitoes yet. Lou says, if a mosquito bit the human part that died... Oh, okay. If the mosquito bit him, it bit the human part that died. Therefore, the mosquito dies because there's nothing special about his flesh. But there was something special about his blood. Right?
Yeah, that is true.
But was it special because it was special blood, or because it was like regular human blood? It was just special because
blood's spilled on the ground. What if there were bugs on the ground? Because they bathed in the blood.
Sean, what number of nonsense do you assign to this conversation?
9.9999999999999.
So I don't know. Maybe we end up with like a Cardophilus kind of a scenario here.
Now, in order for Jesus' blood to have redemptive effects, for a mosquito, Jesus would have had to incarnate it as a mosquito to be his representative.
Ooh.
So that's kind of the issue there.
That's a good point. If we're calling these things good points, that's a great one.
And as to the Y chromosome, Adam had a Y chromosome, and he didn't have a human father. So, if God can make Adam with a Y chromosome from scratch, the Son can certainly do it in his incarnation.
Yo, that's such a good point.
Well, that depends how you interpret Genesis, but I won't get into that portion.
Okay, but Kratos, how did the first man ever get a Y chromosome?
Evolution.
Oh.
Wait, for real?
Yes.
Yeah.
He holds to pre-Adamic theory. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the God picked a hominid and named him Adam and gave him a soul, and there was a whole tribe of hominids, and yeah.
I mean, while I won't straight up condemn someone to hell, because I guess you can thread that needle in a way that's like, fine. The first human has a first soul that God did. I mean, I won't like say you're gonna split hell wide open, but I'd say maybe think about that before you try teaching other people about
I didn't
reading Augustinian
didn't
confessions.
I gave my opinion.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah, opinion's great. Yeah,
and it can be wrong. I'm not dogmatic about it.
Sure. We're all friends here.
See, I didn't make into a big debate, but I do think that's an adequate answer to the Y chromosome question.
I mean, the Archbishop, no doubt, agrees. Do you agree?
Oh yeah. No, you're not referring to me. Oh, good. Okay.
No, you're the queen of the Queen of the Universe. What's higher than Queen of the Universe?
The multiverse.
Queen of Heaven.
Queen of the multiverse. What's your take, Queen of the multiverse?
On which?
Whatever.
Oh, what were you guys? Oh, the pre-Adamic theory. I don't think that this is like a bad enough. I don't hold to it. I do think evolution during the 6 days was completely possible. I'm an old Earth creationist. However, I think in order for the Bible to be reliable, you do need to have a literal first Adam, and you need to have a literal genealogy from Adam to Christ. Oh crap! He took a call.
No, I'm still here. I believe in a literal first Adam.
Slightly hairier than most.
Yeah.
I am.
Liked bananas a lot.
No, the first Adam, I take to be the first in our genealogy. I didn't want to go this direction because I know this some people are very passionate about it. I'm not that passionate about it, but I'll give the perspective. Adam was the first chosen for his specific purpose. I would argue Genesis 1:26 definitely could look at that as this is before Adam in the garden. What we see there, that's when humanity gets elected to be his image bearers, and then sometime after that we have Genesis 2:4 because it uses a Toledoth, which is when it says these are the generations of, and a lot of people understand that to be a recap of Genesis 1, but that's not how Toledoths are used. They always talk about what comes after the event. So when I see the Toledoth, I believe it's talking about what happened after Genesis 1:26. That's where we get to the Adam and Eve story.
Well, so if we have Adam that's, whatever, and he's just existing through natural birthing means, then whenever he makes Eve out of Adam's rib, is that when God did something like that? Or is that explained in a totally different way that's not God taking a rib and making a woman?
Either one could be acceptable. You
What
could
do you
say,
think?
I think exactly that. Either one. I don't think all we have is that came from the side of Adam. So I don't know. Did Adam live without a bunch of bones? Did he grow them back? Was this just a metaphor of like just picked a woman especially for him?
Well, I mean, it seems like if he takes a rib from Adam and makes a woman, it just seems that, well, that's a pretty supernatural event. So sure, why can't
I mean, life itself is miraculous.
So why? Yeah, but I mean, it just seems like it would be more apples to apples. Like if he did that to make woman, he would probably just create man from the dust of the earth, totally how the Bible says, rather than selecting a special thing that's already been roaming around.
But
I don't know.
In Job 33, Elihu also says he was made that way, but he had parents. He said, I too was pinched off from clay, but he had parents.
Well, pinched off from clay is a little different than the Genesis, where it talks about God like creating. So it's like I could be like, I'm pinched off by clay. People will be like, bro, I think I'm stardust. What? Nate thinks he's stardust?
Yeah,
Well,
but that's all just metaphor. Okay, that's obvious.
right. But how? Right, and that's what I'm saying. You could read Job as that, like, oh, pinched off from clay, meaning, well, I mean, it's not wrong to
You
say.
can read Adam for that way too.
Hold on, I'm just saying one reads differently. In Genesis, it reads very, I believe, not metaphorically. Where if Job says that, that would be like, well, I'm stardust. It's not a metaphor. I literally believe I am created of the same matter and material that stars have been created. So given long enough time, is there some part of a star that was cast off in the universe that found its way to the dust of the earth, and, that's what it ends up making me? Sure, I think that's totally plausible. We all have the same building blocks, but does that mean God created me from a star specifically? No, it means going all the way back to Adam, how he was created from the dust of the earth, that surely encompassed stardust. So he scooped it up and made a person. So I am stardust by way of God literally creating Adam. So in Job, it's like I was pinched off from clay. Well, no, he himself was not created from clay as a one-off. That was Adam. But it's also not wrong to say that he was from clay because he's dust of the earth, just like Adam was literally the first person created from dust in the earth. And so the lineage...
How do you know that's literal?
I'm saying, go back to what I said. I said in Genesis, it seems to read very literal. In this, it's much easier to say it's a metaphor.
Wait, why does it read very literal in Genesis?
Let's just read them both, and I am comfortable letting everyone listening draw their own conclusion. Okay, give me a moment. Let me get these verses. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Okay. But yeah, I think Genesis has plenty of metaphoric language in the creation account. So take, for example, male and female, they're supposed to become one flesh. They obviously don't really get sewn together, but it's a metaphor for being joined as one, as a family unit. So if we can interpret it that way, I think we certainly can. And again, this is just a compatibility argument. This isn't me making this is a literal case. Has to be, and it can't be any other way. But I think
the author Moses, which you probably don't even believe in Mosaic authorship. So the author Moses specifically uses metaphorical language all through his work. However, it is shown that these things are metaphor by the text itself. And so when you say, how do you know X is metaphor, it is made pretty implicit in the text itself that it is metaphor just by use of the literary language. When it says that he made him from the dust of the earth, that is not metaphor. That is literally true.
Why?
It's because that is what the text points to. So
okay, it says they will become one flesh. So
yes, and so we understand that, and Moses's readership, because again, using proper hermeneutics, Moses' readership would understand what becoming one flesh means. They would also understand the literal meaning of God creating people out of the dust of the earth. And they would understand that that is not metaphor. And so the text itself, this is called the literal historical grammatical method, which I know you reject, literally tells us when something is a metaphor and when it isn't. When Jesus says, I am the door, we know as the reader that he is not referring to himself as a big wooden slab with a knob, okay? It's just there in the text. And if you're not retarded or you're trying to make a rhetorical debate point, then, we can understand what the text is saying. It's just simple exegesis.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. No, that wasn't, because it's just the assumption.
Let me just read.
So for example,
these verses real quick. Hold on.
Encompass the circle of the earth. Yeah, they might have definitely believed in a flat Earth back then. That doesn't mean that that's literal, even if that was their understanding in antiquity that it was, which is a common view. So no, they weren't always right just because they happened to have understood it that way. What in the text would demand it? It's not anything there. There's nothing in Genesis that demands that being made from the dust of the earth must be interpreted in a literal sense.
Okay, so
because
if
same way that, just this last thing, the same way with they become one flesh. Yeah, we understand the context. No, duh. So why wouldn't it be the case that that can also be a metaphor for one?
This is
like,
why.
let's say someone didn't understand, like it would still be a metaphor even if they didn't.
Okay, this is why. So if you truly believe Eliyahu in Job 33 is saying he was created from dust, just like Adam, if you believe that, then I have a title and deed to planet Earth I want to sell you. So I don't think I need to make an argument for this. I'm just going to read the text and just let the people who haven't clawed their ear holes out by now, who are listening, make the decision for themselves, because I believe it is painfully obvious. So let's start with the seventh day. God rests. Okay, so Genesis 2. I'm just going to start in the beginning. Okay. Thus the heavens and earth were finished, all the host of them, and the seventh day God finished his work, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. The creation of man and woman. These are the generations of the heaven and the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. When there was no bush of the field, and yet in the land no small plant of the field had sprung up yet, for the Lord had not caused it to rain on the land, and there was no man to work the ground, and a mist was going up from the land, and was watering the whole face of the ground. Then the Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. So I'm not going to say anything about that yet. I'll just let that text lie where it is, and then we'll go to Job 33. Job 33. But this is where he's rebuking Job. This guy's rebuking Job. Okay, but now, hear my speech, O Job, and listen to all my words. Behold, I open my mouth, the tongue in my mouth speaks. Thanks for clarifying. My words declare the uprightness of my heart. And what my lips know, they speak sincerely. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. Answer me if you can. Set your words in order before me. Take your stand. Behold, I am toward God as you are. I, too, was pinched off from a piece of clay. Behold, no fear of me need terrify you. My pressure will not be heavy upon you. So, before I say anything on my own, that's just what it says. So it seems painfully obvious in this one. There is no real way you can say this guy is comparing himself like Adam, like he was created from nothing. This seems like they know the story of Adam, and he's saying, look, because this is our origin, we are all dust of the earth. God has given us all the ruach, the breath of life or whatever. Like God has done this, but God did not do this singularly to us. It's because he did it to Adam. So now, if you go back to Adam, just listen to this. Like, how do you take a living creature that's already around, the first of its kind, being born, like you said earlier, like completely natural, right? Then God formed the man from the dust of the ground. Well, yeah, that's the thing that was already formed because they were born with, the stuff and the matter, and, it was a little grape ape just walking around because it was formed from the dust of the ground. Totally makes sense. That's totally what this means. But then, God breathed into its nostrils the breath of life, but it was already living. So he gave it extra breath of life? Well, that's hard to get around. And it became a living creature. So it was already a living creature, but now it became a living creature? It became living because now God gave it a soul? So, it was living naturally, but it wasn't really alive? So that's when God gave it a soul, and now it's alive? That just feels like such a hard stretch. Like you have to do multiple times in the same verse. So it seems easier to read, literally. God formed the man from the dust of the ground. One, he formed a man. He didn't take something that was to become a man. He formed a man from the dust of the ground. Then he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and then it became a living creature. So that's like three things you'd have to really stretch to not make it literal. Anyways, and then to say Job 33 is saying the same thing, you just can't get there. And if everyone listening disagrees, I guess, follow Darwin.
Well, no, I mean, I don't follow Darwin because he believed in naturalism. I'm obviously not a naturalist. But I'm just showing, I want to make it clear I am still making just a compatibility argument. So, real quick, hold on if I could get my Bible app to load. I'm trying to get this going. There we go. So, I brought this. I brought up Job because it shows that yes, he is indeed made by the Spirit of God. He is pinched off from clay. Yeah, these are metaphors for God indirectly creating him because he was still created through natural processes. So yeah, we can accept, yes, he's using metaphor, but he was created by natural processes. Adam could likewise be that, but you're saying, well, no, because Adam's the first one we see. This must be literal. It doesn't have to be, and that's my whole point. And I think we also have good. That's just my. It doesn't have to be. But we actually have good evidence in the other direction too. So Genesis 1:26, this is where we see the election of mankind to be his image bearers. This is where mankind is first brought up in Genesis 1 before the creation in Genesis 2. It says, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. So this is about mankind at the same time over here in Genesis chapter 1. So now this is actually a stronger case for my point. Oh wait, I'm good. Thanks. So yeah.
No, it's not.
What was I gonna say? Genesis 2. So Genesis 2 uses a Toledoth, as I brought up earlier, and this is just when it says these are the generations of. You can find this all over Genesis. This is in Genesis 5:1, Genesis 6:9, Genesis 10:1. These are the generations of Noah, the generations of the sons of Noah, the generations of Shem. This is all just simply telling us this is what comes after. So the generations of the heavens of the earth, it would just be ad hoc to say now it's a recap of what happened before it. No, it's talking about what came after, just like every other time. So I think that's the least ad hoc way to look at this.
No, it's not. And the Toledoth argument has been debunked zillions of times.
No, it hasn't.
No one cares.
No one has. Show me one occasion where it's a recap and not talking about what comes after the person.
You're just making these premises, man. So, like the Toledoth argument, you can't demonstrate it because, again, the Toledoth argument is old 19th century literary criticism. It's just retreaded with Walton. I know that Walton is your favorite.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't? Yeah, of course you do. I mean, come on, man.
But that's a genetic
fallacy. Can you just give us the information instead of hammering him for no reason?
So, look, here's the thing: is that all of these arguments are all old arguments from 19th century literary criticism. This is Christianity on liberalism, trying to explain away the supernatural in such a way as to make it palatable to the modern human mind. And this is a repackaging laid out by Dr. John Walton from Wheaton to attempt to recapitulate these arguments in an evangelical context. And so the Toledoth argument and all this stuff comes from a book called The Lost World of Adam and Eve and The Lost World of Genesis. Dr. Walton denies a literal Adam in the same way that we would believe there's a literal Adam, right? So he would say, no, I believe in a literal Adam. He was literally a hominid that was yanked out and, created to be special, and so this whole thing, again, is just a retread of liberal theology from the 19th century. I don't have the time and energy to go through and debunk the Toledoth argument. I just don't care that much. Suffice to say, it's not an evangelical argument. It shouldn't be repeated by evangelicals. If you want to go to Princeton and learn from the green-haired seminary professors, knock yourself out because they're going to teach the exact same thing.
Okay,
so you did ask for a reference of a Toledoth going backwards. I would say Genesis 2:4 would be where the Toledoth goes backwards.
I know that's circular because that's what I'm challenging. I'm saying
that's what he's saying is the one occasion where it doesn't.
I didn't hear him say that. I heard him say give a reference.
No,
I said
that. I said this. That was my argument that it's talking about what came after Genesis 1 because every other time you find it, that's how it's used. So Chris didn't offer anything. He just gave a genetic fallacy. He just said, well, liberals believe this, so we shouldn't believe it.
Well, no, it's just nothing. It comes from liberalism, and it's been debunked.
How is that not a genetic fallacy?
If you are interested in the debunking, you just Google Toledoth fallacy debunked. There's
Or
literally
you could just do it now
dozens.
because you're literally
There's
slinging it as at
literally
him
Just
as a
look it up in
weapon.
your
dozens,
argument.
and
Look
it's
it up.
a very technical argument. Nate is going to tear his ears off, and so
Already
just
doing that.
go. Yes, just go search it out. There's literally dozens of videos you can find on YouTube. There's literally dozens of
It's okay,
scholarly
Kratos. This
articles.
is what he says when he doesn't know why he
Right.
believes the thing he
Well,
believes.
I'll just say this: the Toledoth rebuttal has destroyed that. So you could just Google and you'll find that I'm right.
And let me just go back to my opening point. Remember how we all said no one's really caring about this? We're not like rooted in no matter what, and now it seems like we are. I will just let my argument, which is simply reading the Bible, stand for itself. If someone is like, yes, Job 33 is exactly the claim they were making. They were created literally just like the claim of Adam. Them, not saying this argument, but the Eliyahu rebuking Job, talking about how holy and upright he is. By the way, have you noticed it's like someone says like, hey, not to offend you, but it means they're about to offend you. If someone talks about how holy and upright they are, it's about to be shown how they're not so holy and upright. Just saying. Little humility goes a long ways. Anyway, so if someone's like, yes, I've read Genesis 2, and Job 33 is exactly the same thing. Job 33 is arguing that they are literally created just like Adam, but Adam is actually metaphorically created in Genesis 2. I'm just like, bro, if you read the Bible and come away with something different than 99% of the people understand it, whatever. You've probably got bigger issues. Okay, anyway, so let's
Nate,
see. Yes.
let me quote the great philosopher Rodney King. Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. A quick rundown.
I'm not the one who came out and was like, oh well, a bunch of freaking alt-right conservatives believe what you believe, so you shouldn't believe it, and it's already been debunked. I didn't do that. I'm having the conversation because people asked about my view.
Where did alt-right conservatives come from? Is that what white Christians are?
I said I didn't.
That's his fever dream.
So,
I didn't.
The Toledoth theory claims in the mid-1900s, some conservative scholars, Wiseman suggested that each of the Toledoth line in Genesis was not a heading, but let's see, ancient Mesopotamian, He argued that Genesis was compiled from earlier written records, clay tablets, which ended in a Toledoth line that identified the author or owner. Let's see, is this the right thing? Genesis 2:4 closes with the previous tablet about creation. Genesis 5:1 closes the Adam tablet. Genesis 6:9 closes the Noah tablet, etc. The Wiseman tablet theory claims that the Toledoth always pointed backward. Well, it didn't always. Anyways, whatever. Always points backward to what its later critics called the Toledoth fallacy. Why most scholars reject or, quote, debunk it. Hebrew usage points forward. The Hebrew narrative Toledoth always introduces that again, they say always. I would disagree with always. Anyways, they suggest that the narrative always introduces what follows. The generations of X means what came before from X. Every clear example after Genesis 2:4, okay, thanks, behaves that way. There's only like 5 sources, or 5 points we're talking about. Genesis 2:4 is the only exception that breaks the pattern. I would argue that, by their own admission, if it breaks the pattern once, everything else is on the table to break the pattern. Just because they don't agree doesn't mean it's not true. They've admitted once. Okay, so no evidence in Hebrew literature. Ancient Mesopotamian tablets did use colophons. There's no sign the Hebrew author was copying scribal practice. Toledoth is a Hebrew word, not a loan from Akkadian or Sumerian. The structure in Genesis doesn't match Mesopotamian tablet formulae. Almost done. Systolic flow. The grammar of 2:4 in Genesis works naturally as an introduction. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth that were created, followed by a narrative of what came after the garden, Adam, Eve, etc. Internal consistency. Treating Toledoth as headings give Genesis a consistent, organized outline that makes literary sense without invoking missing tablets. I have problems with what they're saying. The reason they're propping, one of the reasons this is propped up is this is an organized outline that makes literary sense. Well, does it make biblical sense? Does it make factual sense? They may say yes, but their claim to fame here is it makes literary sense. Like, that should be the least point they make. It's like the kingdom of heaven. Anyways, without invoking missing tablets. Well, facts are facts, so if you get that way by invoking missing tablets, but it's more factual. Anyways, I guess do what you want. Wiseman's theory did highlight something true. Genesis is carefully structured, and those Toledoth markers to divide it into major sections, they are literary markers, not archaeological signatures. Yeah, so...
Yeah, and it just flows into JEDP and, critical theory. This is all, Moses didn't write the book of Genesis or any of the other books. They were written in the exilic period or the post-exilic period. It goes into all of that. It's highly skeptical, liberal scholarship.
Yeah, what did any of that last part have to do with anything? That's just an association fallacy. I never even said I held to that view.
So you
What has to do with me?
don't hold to the documentary hypothesis, which Toledoth is part of?
I haven't claimed that I believe that. No.
Okay, so wait, so you're taking a portion of the documentary hypothesis, you're glomming onto that without accepting or possibly even having read the documentary hypothesis?
Is there a necessity that I do? Can you tell me?
Yes,
Can you give
because
me a
if you're
logical
going
deduction?
to, so if you can tell me why you would take a part of the documentary hypothesis as if it's part of a buffet that you can just choose from,
I do it with Calvinism.
Yeah, I know, and it's stupid. So
No, it's
I'm
not.
just
It makes me more consistent than you.
No, it doesn't.
I
You're
have
not
assurance of
consistent.
salvation, Chris.
You don't. You
Yes,
have
I
a
do. The
false
Lordship doesn't give you that.
doctrine. You have a false doctrine of free
Evanescent grace,
grace.
Chris. Evanescent
You
grace.
don't even understand what evanescent
I
grace
do know what it is. I read Calvin on it.
No, you didn't understand it
I
when
did.
you
We all
read
know
it.
exactly what it is.
No. So
Well,
here's
Steph,
the
this is
problem.
fun.
I prefer to call it Evans Gantz.
Yes, well,
See,
you're
that's
talking
the
about Evans
problem.
Gant. Now
That's
I've
the
got
problem.
it.
Here we got the
Evans
problem.
Gant. Okay, that's
Here's the
now
problem.
I
Hey,
understand
do
you're
you ever
talking
notice
about.
the
You're
common
totally right.
denominator of like the
If
one
that's
kid throwing
what's
stones?
written in the word.
Yeah, let's just have a conversation over the top of the other one.
Sounds good.
Yeah, me and Steph and Sean are all going to talk over Chris and Papa and let people just pay attention to the conversation they want. Yeah, I mean, I'm of the mind, just read the Bible and do what it says. But how do you know how to read the Bible? Great, take that conversation somewhere else. Read the Bible and do what it says. And most people are like, yeah, I just read the words. They're very explicit.
I really adhere very firmly to this idea that there has never been a single human being alive ever who had 100% correct doctrine. And I think that God designed, except Christ. And I think God designed it that way. Like there is nobody, you and me and everyone else and your favorite pastor and like the best theologians, nobody fully and completely understood without flaw or without some like understanding from their own culture or their own language or whatever. Like nobody has had a 100% accurate view of every word in this book. And that is the way that God designed it. This is a living document. This is a living, breathing God. That doesn't mean that you can just eisegete and throw whatever meaning is in there. It means that if someone thinks that there were creatures before Adam, it's not a huge problem. If someone thinks that there was no other ever upright walking two-legged thing before Adam and he's the first, it's not really a huge problem. Like, okay, I know I firmly stand on the one side over the other, but you're going to run into a problem when you say, if you don't interpret every word of the Bible in exactly this way, then you are, quote, retarded or, quote, going to hell. Right? There's a problem there because the implication is that the person saying that thinks that they have a full and complete 100% correct understanding of the Bible. And that is going to lead you to a much more dangerous place than thinking that there might have been hominids before Adam. So it helps to keep things in perspective.
It's just right thinking. Like,
case in point.
Yeah. So again, like, look, no one's saying. I'm just saying, like, look. There are literary aspects to Genesis. Obviously, it's a work of literature, right? And so, whatever your argument might be, it has to fall within the bounds of the inerrant and the the Word of God as presented by a perfect being with transmission down through the ages. Every single point of doctrine in every book is not up for grabs. There is a narrative through the Bible that the Bible itself teaches us how to read it, and it shows us how to interpret it. And so when we start rejecting the clear teachings of Scripture in favor of attempting to sandwich in our commitments to science, or our commitments to whatever this philosophy is, or our commitments to free grace or whatever, then we start doing violence to the text. And my only point is that we need to allow the text to be the text, and not start invoking documentary hypothesis and Wiseman and Walton and all these other things that are theories. So Walton's big problem is that he takes A&E as a monolith. And this is the main criticism from other A&E scholars of Walton's work, that he takes A&E as a monolith and then applies that to the Hebrew scriptures. And this is a huge problem. And the Toledoth argument, that we've got all these different authors and we've got all these different sections. Look, the sections themselves, no one disputes. The problem is what we're doing with the conclusions that we're drawing about where we're getting these Toledoths. And the main contention that I have is, let the scripture be the scripture. Read it in terms of how Moses wrote it, understanding the audience, the author, understanding the historical context, and all of the rest. And when we start layering in, historical context that didn't exist or didn't apply to the Hebrews, that's when we start getting into trouble.
So to that, I would just say, I'm not here to argue like this is the true view of the Bible. I'm arguing this is a compatible view, that there's nothing in believing this that's going to compromise the gospel or make you have to deny something major. It's just a possible view. It could be wrong. It could be wrong, but it being wrong doesn't mean it's not compatible.
But
It's
do
not
you
a
do you
possible
see
interpretation. But
okay, but do you see the problem with federal
wait,
headship?
hold on, Chris. You did go for some time.
Sorry. Go
So,
ahead.
take for example. I'm hearing that. Well, it's part of this this greater documentary hypothesis. I'm agnostic about it. I don't know what my stance is, but it would have to be shown to me why accepting this portion would necessitate I accept the whole. I don't know why. Because, for example, I accept total depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistible grace, not perseverance of the saints. I've never been shown why that would logically follow. It's a non sequitur from the previous points. So I don't see why this. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe I hear the documentary hypothesis and maybe I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's right. But I haven't seen why I need to. I just think it's a sound argument, and I think there's good scriptural reason to believe it. We just don't find any areas where it's used as a recap rather than telling what comes after. So I'm not here to, say, oh, you're just a bunch of freaking hacks who are just slaves to tradition or whatever. Because look, if you believe what's true, if you believe in creationism, that's fine. I don't want to deconvert you. I don't want to convert you. I don't care. I don't have strong opinions about evolution. I'm just saying it's a compatible view. So if you do come to believe in evolution, I don't think it needs to be a stumbling block for you, because there's no reason to believe it as a stumbling block.
I think Chris is saying there's room for interpretation within. There's room for interpretation within the coloring lines, but when you start taking things kind of where he says this is going, which I agree, it's coloring so far outside of the lines that if you do this, it may not inherently be a problem for the gospel if you nuance it just perfectly. However, if you keep doing this and do this over and over again, you're going to end up becoming his PTR. Have I got you right, Chris? And I agree.
Yeah, I'm just, and I'll let Jasper.
You become Greg Bonson?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My PTR is changed.
Oh, his PTR changed. I meant the Anglican bishopess.
And good on you for recognizing Bonson. Good job. But look, and Papa. I mean, we're friends. But I think we should have a deeper conversation about this. Again, maybe what we can do is sit down and both read through Walton together. And also read through Wiseman and the documentary hypothesis. These are battles that have been fought by evangelicals long before you were born. I was in my 20s when this was raging, and I was baptized immediately into the the argument that was going on in evangelicalism from the 70s to the 90s. And it was raging all through evangelical seminaries and Bible colleges. And it was the documentary hypothesis, JEDP. And we can talk a little bit deeper about that. I get allergic when I hear retreads of it because they keep trying to bring it back. Just like any other liberal theology, it keeps trying to put on the skin suit of Christian theology and attempting to worm its way back in. And so that's part of where I'm at with that. But also,
What makes it liberal, by the way? You keep saying it. What is it that makes it liberal?
the documentary hypothesis denies Mosaic authorship and also attacks inerrancy and basically says that this is just a tribal text.
No, I mean just the Toledoth part. What makes that liberal?
So the Toledoth part is part of the documentary hypothesis to deny Mosaic authorship. And so what they're saying is that these sections or sectioned off are what they call priestly literature. And so the idea being that certain sections of Genesis are left to be interpreted as temple texts. I don't know if you've heard this type of verbiage, but and so the JEDP is Judaic, or yeah, I think Judaic, Elohim, priestly, and Deuteronomic. Okay, and so they say that instead of Moses writing the Pentateuch, that it was compiled in the, believe it or not, in the exilic period, thousands of years after Moses would have written it. It was compiled by editors from an oral tradition.
Okay,
And
so what would
so
prevent me from accepting the Toledoth argument, but not the rest? But
it depends on what your end game for the Toledoth argument is. If your end game for the Toledoth argument is simply to say that the text is broken into different literary not genres, but into different literary sections, I don't think you're going to get any quibble from conservative scholars. If you're going to use the Toledoth argument to say that these are clear breaks in authorship and that Moses is not the author, then this is where you're going to start running into
no,
problems.
that was never the argument. The argument was just this always talks about what comes after, and I was just using that as a Genesis 2:4 argument to show that Genesis 1:26 is about an event prior to what came after Genesis 2:4, which is honing in on Adam in the garden. So to
Right.
say
And
Genesis
again,
1:26 is when humanity is elected to God's image.
right. And so again, when we're attempting to use it in that sense, the other problem that you're going to run into is for federal headship, okay? If Adam is not made out of the dust of the ground, if he is just another hominid, you're going to have all sorts of other problems with federal headship, not the least of which is if Adam and Eve are simply pulled out of the group of hominids and given, the image of God, the Imago Dei, um, and then they are mating with the other hominids later on, not Adam and Eve, but like their children or whatever. And so this explains how we can have Cain's wife, because she was just another hominid, all this other nonsense. So what that does is it muddies and does away with the actual um, descent of how um, Adam is the federal head. And then you would also have possibly hominids that never intermixed with Adam and Eve. And then what do you do with those people? Are they people? They're not made in the image of God somehow, but yet humans are mating with them. It causes
No, I would say
all
all
sorts of
human beings were
chaos.
elected to be His image.
Right. And but again, that causes a problem with federal headship. So the problem that you're going to run into is that if Adam and Eve are not the sole mother and father of every human being that has ever existed, then you do not have federal headship as defined in Romans chapter 5, and then you do not have Christ. And so it is an attack upon the foundation of, and again, this is what they will say. So like they will say that federal headship is nowhere found in Romans chapter 5, and they will say that Christ is an example and he is not our our federal head for salvation, that he
Yeah,
is
but
a
I have no problem
moral
deviating from
example.
them. What if I just say that Adam is the head of all humanity via election, and his mess up spiritually affected all the rest of mankind? What would be affected by that? Because Adam does remain the federal head. Sin does spread from all people, and
Right,
death
because
reigned
that's
from
just
Adam.
not what the scripture teaches. So I mean, like,
That
you
that's
can,
different, but here's the thing. To say it's wrong is one thing, but I'm just talking about compatibility. That's all I'm saying. You
yeah,
could
but
believe this, and it
again,
won't compromise anything
but
major in the Bible.
compromising federal headship. I mean, we can have a, again.
How does that
Nate
compromise federal
probably wants
headship?
to shoot himself right now, but like, we can. Why don't you and
I'm
I get
trying to set
offline
up
and we can have a
Loopback.
conversation about federal headship as to why
Well,
this isn't compatible, why thousands of hominids running around and then Adam being their federal head and then
okay, I'm
them
asking why.
being.
Hold, can I? Is the struggle here in the day, the literal day creation kind of? This is the conversation here.
Well, at this point, we're talking about federal headship. So if there's thousands of hominids running around that evolved out of amoebas, as Papa
Yeah.
is saying, then like what we're saying is that, all of these things that were running around are just granted the image of God. Adam and Eve are not special. They're just, the first people that were granted the image of God, and by their grant, and correct me if I'm wrong, Papa, but by them being granted the image of God, then all the rest of the hominids get granted the image of God, and then
I
when
don't
they
believe they were the first.
fall, yeah, so they weren't the first. Yeah. So like, yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, and this causes all sorts of. If you do not have a specially created image of God of Adam and Eve, you do violence to the rest of the text of redemptive history. And this is the point of this particular theory. This is the point of somebody like a Francis Collins and running Biologos. It is to destroy. The only two ways you can destroy Christianity are by destroying resurrection and destroying federal headship. This is an attack on federal headship.
I think I hear what Kratos is saying because like you have to understand the Torah in rabbinic um, uh, um, discussion, Kratos, because if you use your Western mindset and logic to try to understand, using kind of the rubbish of the evolutionist kind of perspective of how humans became to be rather than the literal narrative of in from the dust and literal days, and you're not, I think, because I had that struggle before. Unless you really need to have like a converse, like I don't know. I mean, I'm maybe I'm making presumption here, but you really need to know what you believe in terms of the scripture in an orthodox sense that it is literal days creation, and that because if you have a narrative from the Western world, giving you, hey, based on our evidence, human evolution, for humans to be humans, this is the narrative. Like it's going against scripture, unless you have a sit down and conversation with yourself to know exactly what you believe in. You're not stable in that kind of narrative that they always throw out. So I don't know if I'm kind of going to the root of the conversation here, but because there's that two different perspective I feel within Christianity that they try to um, find middle ground. It's mostly, I guess, Catholic that, hey, the scientific community or group is pushing evidence that based on what they have, the conclusion is this, when the scripture is saying no, there's no room for what you're talking about. It's this literal 24-hour, it's yom.
Yeah,
So
Justice. Again, I'm not here to argue this is the true view. It's just the all I've been saying is it's compatible and it won't cause you to compromise anything. Anything major within Christianity. Like even it says it could compromise federal headship. I don't see how. It still allows for the fall of Adam. It still allows sin to spread to all humans. We're all in need of a savior. We're all totally depraved and spiritually affected by sin. Literal death, burial, resurrection of the Son of God. I think everything remains preserved. Now, maybe you're saying, well, I'm not consistent with this documentary hypothesis. I mean,
who cares? I eat the meat, spit out the bones with a whole bunch of things, Calvinism included. So, that's really where it works.
Agree with you, Kratos, because like I don't agree with Chris's doctrine specifically, but when he was talking about how, well, we gotta try to be traditional in our way too, and I agree with Steph too when Steph was talking about, well, doctrine is not. This is why you gotta love, because like there's a lot of growing that needs to happen, I guess, because we don't know everything. Steph is right, like there's certain doctrines that you just can't condemn people, but like at the same time Chris is also right, that it needs to be like a traditional approach on certain things that you cannot question. I mean, I kind of agree with him when he has that sentiment. So I mean, I don't know if I didn't mean to.
Liberal scholarship just comes about because dudes want to do butt stuff with other dudes. I think that's the root of it all.
That's pretty true.
Nate, if you leave me with this, I will kill you.
I'm about to leave. Chris, do you want to help me do tech support live so we can test this out?
Test what? What are you doing?
I have Loopback. As far as I am messing up my understanding of it, just tell me what columns to do. So in the left-hand column, Google Chrome is where I play all the awesome stuff from. So I assume I want Google selected as a source, and then I don't know what else to do.
Did you already install the kernel extension and do all that and take all
it's already installed, except now when I know stuff.
That's impressive. To be honest, that's pretty impressive, dude. That's a fairly complex operation. That's good.
Thank you, Chris. So, okay, my problem, though, is I just don't know how to set it up, and, there's lots of stuff like installation guides. Who's going to read that? I'd rather you just tell me. So for example, I don't understand this. For input device, right now this should be my good sounding mic, right? So whenever I just go to input device and simply select loopback audio, I'm not going to hear anything you say until I change it back, because for some reason I'm about to do it, but it's going to mean I can't hear anything else. So I don't understand how me switching the input affects what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'll walk you through it. So, yeah, there's a whole thing. And
can you hear me? Can you hear me right now?
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Okay.
So wait, do you hear me right now?
Created,
hang on, check 1 2 3 4.
A bunch of other
he doesn't hear me.
Running around.
Oh, he doesn't hear me. Okay.
Why does it say
I know what I need
not
to do.
A meat that was acceptable for
By
Adam?
the way, we're done here, so go to youtube.com/@ questions about Christianity.
Right?
Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. In the meantime, I'm going to figure out this tech talk over the top. If you want to hear this without me interrupting, go to Clubhouse Social Audio app and sign up there. Look for the Ask a Christian House. I think I know how to do this. I think I need to add a source.
Just doesn't make sense.
Okay, add a source. Okay, add a source.
No mate fitting. That could just be in terms of characteristics, in terms of
check 1
creating
2
a kingdom of priests. So that
1
could be
2.
adequately
Anyone hear
with
this?
that.
Does
For the
anybody
other,
hear
for
me?
animals, I mean,
Anybody?
I think anyone would have to admit,
so that's not working.
Adam.
Oh wait, am I working? Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, I was hearing.
Oh, wait, okay. Sorry to interrupt this, but Steph's about to scratch your ears out, and I'm done anyways. So I'm just trying to test this out real fast, so thank you. If you want to drop a link to continue this on, I'm going to have to go in like 2 seconds, so I'm just trying to make this work so it's ready for tomorrow. So not to interrupt your conversation, except I guess I am. Sorry. But Chris, are you there for 2 seconds? If you can help me get this thing working.
I'll just get off here and just call me, and we'll...
Well, no. Stay here, because I think I may have it working. So, do you hear me in the same voice that you heard last time I spoke?
Yes.
Or is it okay? So it's the right microphone. It sounds good and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It sounds deep and sultry.
I don't know about sultry.
Okay, so hang on. I'm going to play something from the internets, and if this works, then you and I think Lou, which I'll have to apologize because he's going to call and yell at me and be like, "Bro, I told you this like three months ago. Why didn't you do it? Why did it take Chris? You like Chris better than me?" And then I'm going to have to be like, "No, Lou, I don't like Chris better than you. I like you all the same. I like all my children the same." I mean, okay, so let me just see if I can play something here. Do you hear this? Oh, wait, I don't hear this. Okay. I've clearly messed up something. Wait, unless you hear it and I don't. Do you hear it? Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear it, yes.
Wait, you hear the audio, great, because I don't.
Yeah, well, so there's different settings. You can actually set up a monitor so that you can hear. So like you can actually set up there's monitor channels as well. So there's input, there's sources, output, and monitors. If you set up a monitor to be your speakers or your headphones, then you'll be able to hear the audio going through.
Okay, so, let's see, hold on here. Let me get some music.
But thank God that you figured this out, because now we can actually hear whatever you're
I'm so happy.
to say.
Now I just need to hear it. Okay, so let me get some music that I can play on YouTube that's not going to get me copyrighted. Let's see. What's the name of my channel? One moment. Thank you all. Yeah, everyone else that's not interested in this, you just go away. Or stay here. The serious discussion's done. I'm just messing around with this stuff real fast. And it's going to be awesome if I can figure it out. Okay, so...
I mean, I know it works. I've used it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's knowing it works, which I believe it works. I just have to make it work for me now. Oh, that's going to be great if you guys could finally hear this stuff good. Then I don't have to switch my microphones. Okay, It says a free trial, though. Is the free trial going to... What happens if the free trial runs out?
It stops working.
Well, that's not good. How long is the free trial?
I think it's like 10 days or something.
Oh, okay, we'll enjoy this for 10 days. Okay. So how much is it to buy?
I think it's like $80.
Wow. Gives and takes away. Okay, hang on. Is this quiet? Do you hear it, but it's like quiet now?
Oh, we heard it, yeah.
I mean, do you still hear it, and is it quieter?
No, we don't hear it anymore.
What? How about now?
Yeah, now we hear it.
Okay, great. I just want it to be like in the background so you can hear it, but it's not overpowering. So now, all I need for this to work for 10 days is for me to turn a monitor on so I can hear it. So, how can I hear it? Okay, so, but if I do a monitor, though, is that going to let me monitor only that, or am I going to hear everything I say from my microphone?
The little flowchart things you can draw.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You draw the little lines so that you can hear different things.
Okay, this isn't working, though. So, if I want to select a monitor, it basically lets me... Okay, so if I want to select a monitor, I have to choose one of my outputs. Oh, okay. Okay, no, see? Okay, here's the problem, Chris. I hear the music now, but I also hear my own voice, too. How do I break that line from my voice?
So it depends on how you have your sources set up. Did you set up a source as your microphone?
Yes, because that's what allows you to hear me.
Okay, so then what you would do is you would have a couple of output channels. So what you would do is have output channels 1 and 2 be going out to Clubhouse. Output channels 3 and 4 are going to be going to your headphones. Then you can select which of your sources you want to go into your other output. So your channels 3 and 4 are going to go there, and then you set up a monitor for your headphones, and then draw lines.
Okay. How do I draw the lines, though? Because
you just drag and drop from the dot.
It doesn't seem to. Oh, okay. Do you hear me on both of your headphones, or because it looks like only one channel is working? I don't know how to combine that.
I hear. Well, I'm on my phone, so.
Not helpful. Yeah, I think it's only one channel working. So there's that. Unless I don't use my microphone, but I route the OBS. Let's try this. Okay, how about that? How does that do? Are you hearing me now? Check 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope. Okay, so you don't hear if I use OBS. Isn't that music nice and peaceful?
Yeah.
Is everyone gone?
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I made that.
Oh, before I forget again, Nate. So you were talking about Chatter. So I went and downloaded the app. I started like, I don't know, a group or something on there. I'm such a tech tart. I can't figure out how to go live or anything on it. Do you know anything about Chatter, Chris?
No. I had it installed for a little while and I quit on it.
Steph, what do you...
Nobody's really using it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be getting... Hang on.
It's been getting done for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing lines everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
What am I doing?
Sounds like you're doing it right. You just gotta get it all working.
Surely not.
It's like background music to a video game. Like some characters walking around a house looking for crap.
No, go ahead and say your Christian words there. Why did Calvinists have such filthy mouths?
I don't know.
And alcoholism. Okay. I have lines drawn everywhere.
But Nate, you do realize that, there was a whole bunch of hominids running around because we got to be able to do science.
Wait. Okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. Okay, you can hear this. I mean, it's rhetorical. Okay, now I can't hear this. Now if I go to if I go to my OBS advanced program properties and I turn the monitor on, monitor only, monitor and output. Oh, then that sounds really bad. What? Well, that's not working.
I don't know, man. Keep messing with it.
Well, yeah, but except I'm only coming in one of your channels too, because it's only in my audio. It's only picking up one channel, not stereo, and there's no way to change that.
Channels 1 and 2 are left and right.
Yeah, but only channel 1 is working. Like, I can't figure out how to drag anything up and make it connect to channel 2. Like channel 1 is the only channel that's working. I need to make it mono, and I don't see a way to do that.
Oh, I see. Well, it still sounds a lot better than it did.
Well, yeah, for you. But yeah, it takes away my ability to hear, so I can't even hear what I'm doing now. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I've already told everyone they can go. Okay, so... Yeah. I'm confused. Alright, Chris and Lou. I blame this for you.
Yep. Well, just keep messing with it, because I don't know your whole setup. You know it better than I do.
No, I don't.
You're the audio guy. You'll get it figured out. I have faith in you, Nate.
Well, that's nice of you. I don't know. There may not be a way. Oh, audio devices. What about now? Can you hear anything? Oh, wait, you can still hear that. What about now? Can you hear anything now?
Now I hear a rattling.
Okay, well, that's not good. Why won't you work? Who wants to be a sound engineer, guys? Anyone want a free job, sound engineer?
I have to go see a client.
All right, guys, you're absolved. You can leave.
Mail you this thing. Here, I just boxed it up, so I'm gonna mail you your router.
Oh, doing God's work. I appreciate that, Chris.
See you,
Hopefully,
dude.
Hopefully it will help.
I'm sure it will.
All right, later. Let's see. Who else is? Oh, everyone's gone almost. Sean, you're not gone. You still count. But what interface? I don't even know what that means. It's this program called a Loopback. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, what? Come on. Okay, so I bet you can hear me right now, right? But if I turn the source on, now you can hear that, but I can't hear. I can't do it simultaneously? Come on. Okay, there's an output channel. Okay, okay, so yeah, I'm sure you can hear the music now. But if I do a monitor, it's gonna make me hear my own voice. I don't want to hear my own voice. No one wants that. Unless I have to use it only when I'm sharing stuff, but that makes it just more complicated. Okay, so if I want to do this... Okay, so if I want you to hear stuff, I have to hear me. Except is this recording? Oh, I have to
What are
check,
we doing,
check
Nate?
Oh, hey, Joanne. I'm
Can I help you?
I'm doing some tech stuff. You hear me, right?
Are you on Discord as well? This room?
No, this room's not on Discord. We are on Discord.
You are on Discord. Ask a Christian.
Yes. Yeah. Do you
try to find it?
I can get you the link here.
I don't want you to go out of your way, but if you look at my picture, I just wanted to share with you that I am a quilter, and sometimes I don't just make blankets, I make wall hangings, and this is my new wall hanging for the fall season, and I do it for the church, and I teach it at my church called Calvary.
Oh, that's a cool quilt. And Joanne, I put the Discord there in chat. So you can,
thank you.
Can join us.
So there's a church here. There's like thousands of people. It's like an arena, and we have a full band and singers, and I found where I belong. It's really beautiful. It's like they literally have guys directing traffic. That's how many cars are in the parking lot. But anyway.
Well, cool. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Yeah, and I'm on my way out. I think I may have a figure. Yeah, you came in late, Joanna. I'm just we've ended the discussion. I'm just doing some tech stuff. Well, yeah. Well, I'm grateful for when you join us and stop by. But yeah, well, I'll be back here tomorrow. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just paraphrasing. Peter said to Jesus, "Where else would I go, Lord? You have sayings of everlasting life." So let that be my scripture for the day. Where are we going to go? We're going to go here, in this room where you guys have always spoken the truth. Amen.
Well, thanks, Joanne, and hopefully that becomes easier if I'm able to share the audio better, which is what I'm working on now, and I think I may have it. So let me just make a note. I'll say bye to you real quick. I'm going to make a note for myself. So myself, when I'm watching this back, my OBS desktop audio is on, and the Clubhouse Loopback monitor is on. So am I getting a double echo right now, or not? Okay, now I'm turning off the desktop audio on OBS. Did that make it better or worse? And now I am turning that back on. So desktop audio is on. Now I'm going to turn off the CAD mic. I'm turning that off now. Can you hear me at all, or is that double? Is everything double or not? Okay, so now CAD mic, desktop audio, and OBS are both on, and the Loopback monitor is on. So now the monitor is off, so this is like normal. Now the monitor is on, so did that create double? If it created double, I'm turning off the CAD mic now. turning off desktop. Okay, so here we are. This is back to Loopback is on. CAD mic, desktop audio is on, and I'm turning off Loopback monitor now. So this should be how it normally is, except I can't hear. So what I'm doing now is turning on the Loopback audio so I can actually hear what I'm playing. Everyone in Clubhouse can hear this, and my mic. So if I turn the monitor on now I can hear it, and everyone else can hear me and it. But if this is creating double in my recording, that's bad. Okay, me, take a break. I'm turning the monitor off now. And I will see myself and you guys later. All right, everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking it out. Take care. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good one. Oh, and when I close Clubhouse now, I can hear it again. So it basically just uses that channel. Okay, well, let's see how this worked.